This episode of Bleach was awesome! We had so much amazing stuff happen in this episode, and all I'm thinking is, how can these other anime even hope to top this? I mean, we have Chainsaw Man tomorrow, which we'll be definitely talking about, but I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. I think Bleach may be one of my favorite anime this season. I thought I'd never say that in my life because I was just a casual reader of the manga. But here we are! Bleach is so freaking awesome this season. I mean, the fight that we had this episode honestly is just masterclass. Also as well, be sure to subscribe. We are so close to 60,000 subscribers. We're about 900 away. So if you could, just hit that subscribe button really quick. And as well, if you want to, you can check out my One Piece content. I just came out with my Arlong Park review this morning, which I think you all should definitely check out. We talk about why Arlong Park is a masterpiece. So anyways, let's do this. Let's get into Bleach episode 3. So honestly, I just want to talk about the ending, but I do want to talk about the stuff that comes before here. And I do want to say before we get super deep into the video, if you guys are wondering why I mispronounce all the names, I know that's like a big complaint with my past couple of videos. It's because I read from chapter 1 to 479, but I read them very casually. Like, I'm not the super most hardcore-ist of Bleach fans. I never expected these videos to blow up. So now that they have been blowing up, I'm actually going back and I'm studying and researching a lot of Bleach stuff. And I mean no disrespect to Bleach fans out there at all. I actually really enjoy Bleach. And yeah, so OP begins by turning to the camera, and oh my god, when he turns to the camera, oh, that animation is so good. And there's a bunch more great animation, especially near the end of this episode. But Nell can't believe that Trace Bestia was defeated, and I sort of can. I think I get, going into this arc that there's gonna be a lot of things that are going to be flipped on its head, and there's going to be a lot of, institutionalized characters and groups like Trace Bestia that definitely have to fall in order for, there to be a bigger evil, right? So it doesn't surprise me too much that they would do this, but in terms of the story, absolutely a surprise. I mean, how could it not? I mean, that's crazy. But as well, OP seems to know everything about Ichigo because he was given like a document or like a, something about their enemies, right? And he was labeled as a special threat, which I would think is pretty flattering in my opinion. If I was labeled a special threat, I feel like I'd have the most massive dongle that you have ever seen. But I don't. This leads to OP somehow using the Hirin Kyaku, which I think is really fascinating how there are so many moves. And I like how they telegraph it a little bit too, where Urahara warns Ichigo about it, and even Ichigo's like, so this is what he was talking about. It's just those cool little things in Bleach fights that are just, it really makes, like it's not gonna make a huge difference, but it is gonna make a difference, if that makes sense. And those little things add up quite a bit, those little details. I don't know why I like that stuff, but I love those small details for some reason. And for most people, they're like, there's just small details. For me, they're like, oh, well, this is pretty cool. It's fascinating to me. And so OP finally tells Ichigo, yeah, you know what? You've probably been thinking, this guy's a Quincy. Well, I am, buddy. Then in the next scene, we're in the captain's meeting room. Yamamoto essentially declares war so that they do not, so that the enemy does not get the upper hand on them, which, Yamamoto, my man. Did you watch the last part of this episode? It seems like we are going to have the enemy have the upper hand. That's for sure. But as well, you know what? I once again, I want to gush about it. It's really awesome seeing these characters that we know and love for over the years, just in this new style. I love seeing every one of them. I can't wait to see more of them. I mean, we've basically seen all of them now, pretty much. All the most important ones, besides a couple, after this episode. But oh man, it's so good. I'm so glad they did this new art style. Going back to the fight though, OP thinks that Ichigo can do better, but Ichigo just completely blocked the arrow, surprising OP. That was a really cool moment right there. I enjoyed that. And then Ichigo tosses Nail to Orihime, and she catches Nail, but I can't get over how much they buffed Orihime. It's just ridiculous looking at this point. I mean, it's just funny. And I think it's more funny than, you know, fan servicey or sexy or whatever. I think it's just comical at this point. Like, her back pain must be insane with the amount of weight she is carrying on her front chest. But you know, good for her. Good for her. Ichigo makes a comment about how Uryu's arrows weren't as strong as Opie's, which I'm not sure if this is like just the source I got it from is like a mistranslation or something, but correct me if I'm wrong. But he basically says, yeah, I'm not sure how that's possible. Are we talking about the same Uryu? Uryu's arrows are just supposed to be stronger than mine. That's just a little bit of a weird exchange in my opinion. Then Opie uses a Quincy's final state, as he called it, the Let's Still, which I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. I've probably pronounced nothing right so far, as you guys have reminded me over and over. Opie though calls it the Quincy Volstein Dick. We'll see. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. But this was a freaking awesome moment in the fight. I absolutely love to see this. And then we see Yahwak, who moves to invade the Soul Society. I mean, so far in this episode, I'm just like, I'm sort of like getting a little giddy at this point, just because this is just so hype. Like, you know, like this is so hype. Even more hype is when he describes the difference between the Let's Steal and his Volstern, we'll say. As the difference between heaven and earth. Holy crap, that's powerful. If you're describing that much of a difference in power, that's actual insanity. Then Ichigo uses Getsu Gatensho, but Opie actually blocks it. And not only blocks it, but he blocks it with ease. And then he uses Biskel, though he is blindsided by Trace Bestia. They've returned and they're using Aeon. So we're gonna see what Aeon does. And boy, does he do a lot, because he freaking batters on Opie. It's not even a fair fight, but turns out it kind of is, as we'll learn later on. So Uryu is in the library when Ryukin shows up to talk to him, and he asks, like, Uryu straight up is like, do you know anything? And then he's like, not here. And Ryukin, my god, that guy knows something. He knows something about those Quincy's. But I do like how he hints at it, you know, hey, Uryu, the answers aren't here. So Uryu basically goes to his office and gets the answers directly from him. While that's happening, we get a Shino and Ryunosuke moment here. Basically, Shino is asked by Ryunosuke, hey, why are the Soul Reapers and Quincy's at odds in the first place? We sort of get this crash course, basically, on Soul Reapers and Quincy's, and how, essentially, Soul Reapers are the balancers. They keep the balance, while Quincy's, they like to eliminate hollows. So there is just a fundamental difference in what they're trying to do, despite them all having the same common goal inherently. I think this is a great example of how, yes, while you can have the same goal, you have so many different ways of achieving that goal that almost makes the point of the goal seem like a means to an end for many groups and people. And the vast differences between the two, there's plenty. I mean, there's pretty much the only common thing is the goal they have in common. That's about it. Everything else about them is different. Even Kajimaro shows up, which, Kajimaro, guys. Look at that necklace. He's absolutely just a sexy bastard, and he knows it. But anyways, basically, this is just a crash course, pretty much. Stuff that, for the most part, we pretty much already knew, or assumed at the very least. But what I do like about this scene, however, is how it reinforces that they're not really in a battle. They're not really in a fight. They're not at odds with each other. They're at war with each other. And that is really confirmed in the next couple of scenes where Yamamoto, basically, he is drilled. He is basically told, hey, this is your fault for not taking out Yahwak 1,000 years ago. I mean, this scene was really cool in its own regard, just for the simple fact that the scenery itself, like the art with the destroyed building and Yamamoto looking off to the distance while he's essentially being chastised, it may be rightfully so, because he brings up to Yamamoto like, hey dude, like, yeah, you could say that we messed up here, but this all stems from you not being able to take out Yawak 1,000 years ago. So what do do you have to say about that? That's on you, man. And for that reason alone, and for the scenery and stuff, I think this is a really cool scene, just in terms of what it meant. And it was really well delivered too. The voice actors were killing it, man. So good. So once again, like I said, we see Aeon beat up Opie, and Opie is basically like, yeah, okay, bro, that was fun and all. You broke my neck clean in half, but, it's time for me to eliminate you. So Opie turns into a diabolical, absolute, evil looking monster thing. I'm not sure. It looks like something out of your worst nightmares about World War II. That's basically what it looks like to me. Just the absolute worst possible scenario, super soldier you can think of from World War II. That is basically Opie. He's just one ugly bastard. He actually reminds me, in terms of his voice, a little bit of Adam Smasher from Cyberpunk 2077 and Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Yeah. Bro, this was both one part cool, one part disgusting. That's all I gotta say about it. Plus, it was just a greatly animated scene as well. The whole transformation sequence, the way everybody's expressions and voice acting were conveyed, and as they looked on in horror, pretty much. You know, we even got the lower half of Dondo Chaka. I mean, this is pretty much a perfect episode, just with that alone. And this really signifies at the very end of this episode. We see that Yo basically arrives, and he's just destroying everything. And then, oh my god, we see Rukia. I think this is the first time we've seen Rukia, well, in not many episodes, now that I think about it. In years. In terms of, it's been like 10 years since the anime last aired. So it's been quite a while since we've seen her. And it's really nice to see one of the iconic characters of this new art style and animation. Absolutely phenomenal. But basically, there is a total slaughter. There's some heads that are being blown off. There's a cool looking guy with a mohawk. These characters look absolutely amazing. They are known as the Stern Ritter, which that is such a great name. I know last episode I called Opie Stern Ritter J, because I was confused, basically, pretty much. So I cannot wait for the next episode, just based off what happened at the end here, but as well, the absolutely amazing fights in this episode. Tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think about this episode of Bleach? Was it good? Was it bad? What did you think about it? What did you think about the fights? What did you think about, especially seeing, these iconic characters like Rukia in this new art style? I know we kind of saw him in the trailer, but, either way, absolutely amazing. Something I'm looking forward to is next week to watch episode 4, because it is just that good. So with that out of the way, thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, as well drop a like, and comment down below. What were your thoughts on this episode? For me, it was bliss. It was pure bliss. As well, check out my One Piece videos. I just came out with a One Piece video today, and become a Patreon over at patreon.com/SeaTactics to get access to all of my One Piece videos 3 weeks and ad-free before anybody else. Also, join my Discord. Links in the description below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.